I just haven't had time to watch it.
Cleaning and sanitizing of the work surfaces is an essential part of the food production process. Our cleaning process is generally a three-step process where we start with soap and water. We follow with a bleach, because over time the bacteria can potentially grow in the product. So all our products are tested to ensure that the total number of bacteria in the product is low to begin with, and that there are no very long shelf life at room temperature. So controlling the bacterial levels helps ensure the shelf life of the product. The process of preparing our freeze-dried products looks very much like cooking at home, except on a larger scale. There's chopping. The nice part about the quiche is that when we freeze dry it in a block, and so it comes out as a single piece, which makes it really easy for the crew members to handle it on board it. When we produce a lot of freeze-dried food, we're typically trying to produce enough to get us The ingredients in the quiche also include cream cheese, egg substitute, Swiss cheese, industrial kettle that we use in food preparation. It can be used to cook items as well, but in this case, in the case of the quiche, we're using it as a receptacle to mix large volumes of product together. This is a industrial grade hand mixer that we use. We have a nickname for it. We nickname it our. The final step in the process involves the assembly of the quiche in the pan. The pan is prepared.
Get a little bit more spray.
The pan is prepared with vegetable spray, and then cornflake crumbs are spread in the bottom as the lower crust for the quiche. Onions, which have been sauteed. The zucchini is sprinkled on as the next layer. Over the top. Convection oven. It's baked for an hour at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. 2.5-inch blocks for freeze drying. And this is based on the size of the package that it will be packaged in for flight. After the freeze dryer tray is loaded with the blocks of quiche, a thermocouple is inserted into one of the blocks, and the thermocouple will be used to monitor the freeze drying process by monitoring the temperature of the product. The product is loaded into the freeze dryer, and the thermocouple is inserted. The operating parameters for the freeze dryer are stored on the computer, and the freeze drying operation is computer.
Go.
more. Okay, I'm going to toss this.
Okay.
For people on Earth, be it dietary changes that can help mitigate bone loss during flight. One of the things is that, we did some studies to help better understand how much vitamin D people needed during spaceflight.
Of food and packaging per person per day.
4 pounds a day. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And when you consider some of that is dried and they're having to add water to it, then yeah, it is a lot.
Do American astronauts only eat the American food that you and your folks are getting ready for them?
Well, our responsibility is to feed the 3 U.S., what's called USOS, the U.S. segment crew members, and then there's 3 cosmonauts on board, and the Russians have the responsibility to provide food for those. However, it is up to the crew on orbit to decide how they share the food and how often they share the food. So yeah, they do share, and it varies from increment crew to increment crew as to how much.
How far in advance do you have to work to plan for this? To get, for instance, food for Barry Wilmore on the station when he is there?
Actually, we are working typically about 18 months in advance. So we have a standard menu. So most of the core menu is the same. And so, we just pre-position that. But then each crew member gets a certain amount of preference food. We call them bonus containers. And so they, that container has their name on it with their selections in it. And so that's what we have to be sure is there at the right time for them to utilize.
And are you able to use all of the different delivery ships, the delivery trucks that are going to the station?
Yes, over time we have used them all. We used to use the Progress a lot, but now that we have the